Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan,
Back
back in the house, baby.
Back in the house for Australian Open.
Yeah, Manny, you're pretty excited. I don't know. That marathon performance tonight got me a little down.
That was horrible, dude. That was just so bad.
I mean, I get it. And, like, it's tough. Like, is it better? Like, we have to, like, we both knew that could happen. It's not like we went in blind. It's not like we didn't think that could happen.
Yeah.
It just sucks when it does. Like,
I know. Well, we saw floor Marjan, right? It's either floor Marjan or ceiling Marjan. And like, if you get the ceiling, he might beat Alcaraz, right? Like we saw that, right?
yeah.
But if we get floor, then we just get like complete dog shit.
And the floor's just not fun to watch.
Yeah. Well,
like,
so he played a pretty good first set, right? He won the first set. I think Francis' level wasn't up to par. But then, like, in the second set, he got the break back at 5-4 and then just played the dumbest game. Like, it was horrible. What the hell was that?
Well, the lob at deuce is like that. It's honestly, it's blooper level worthy.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the 10 worst misses. Legitimately, Manny, is that a top 10 worst miss you've ever seen in your life? It might be.
It's up there. It's up there.
From a pro, it might be a top 10 worst miss. Like,
he didn't even seem that upset about it. Like, that's what pissed me off more than anything.
Oh, yeah, you got to smash a racket. You missed that, you got to smash a racket. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, he just seems so low energy, and it's just like, it's a third round of a major. Like, show some.
And again, like, is it better? Like, you know that's in the range of outcomes, but to see it is just sad. Like, it's.
Well, that was a bad GBM play, but we made a brief comeback, right? We hit some good ones in the last couple of days. We hit the Van Ash money line against Mazzetti. That was a great play at
yeah.
We hit the overs in McCabe, Michelson, and Griekspoor, Safiullin, right?
Yep.
Two.
Yeah, we got kind of lucky. I don't want to say lucky, but like the Griekspoor Safiullin was looking bad for a while. It was funny because those two, like the Griekspoor Safiullin was looking bad forever, then it turned out okay. And the McCabe Michelson was a hell of a sweat.
That was a sweat. That was we needed what
after being like 22 and he like 14 games or 15 games in the final two sets, we almost didn't get there.
Oh man. But yeah, it did. And then didn't we hit another plus money play yesterday? With the Sonego to win a set against Alcaraz, right?
At 170, I will never understand that. That line was just wrong.
It was wrong. It was wrong.
Like, for Sonego, Sonego's like he's a better version of Marazon, but like with Sonego too, there's some just like disaster in the cards. But that shouldn't have been 170. Sonego has way too much upside.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good comparison with Marjan, but the thing is, Sonego shows the energy, right? And he brings it, right? Whereas Marjan is just like, that's what I was the most disappointed about with this performance, was just a lack of energy.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing if you lose and make dumb shots. It's another thing when you're just like super low on energy. But yeah, so we're now down, I think with today's match, we're down, 7 units?
6 units, something like that. Something between 6 and 7. 6.
We were down 15 at one point, so it's a good comeback.
We'll be up and down. I mean, especially because we also tend to put a fair number of dog bets in there, and with those dog bets, you're going to have higher variance.
But I think it's important, like, so these are picks that we both like truly agree on, and I don't want these plays to be pure price plays. I want them to be plays that obviously have the price to go with it, but like price bets that we know can come true.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both believe there was some chance that Marazon could win that match.
I agree.
And I still think there was. Like, for 2 sets, he was right there. Like,
exactly. And I thought he underutilized the drop shot. That was a huge.
Yeah, like if we were 5, he utilized it like 5 times. We were like 5 for 5 on it, and like it just went away. He was just like, nah, I'm done. Like, no need anymore. Like, I'm just gonna blast the ball as hard as I can. Like. But honestly, like, mental is a huge part of a lot of these, like, and you see it every slam or anytime you watch qualifying, but like, you really realize like how important the mental side and the tactics are and how it makes such a difference for these players. Like, there's a lot of these challenger guys. Like, I watched Valcouz play Purcell, and like Purcell played awful, couldn't land a forehand, and like Valcouz, like played some of the dumbest tennis I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
And these guys, like, yeah, a lot of these challenger guys, like, just like that's why they're challenger guys, because they don't like they can't sustain the level. They can't mentally sustain it. Like, it's I always enjoy watching the slams for that because, like, I watch a little challengers, not a ton.
Mhm.
And when you watch these challengers and especially the qualifying, you really see like the difference.
But at the same time, you see some potential. Like today, we didn't really see it, but yesterday, I mean, I thought it was one of the greatest days in Grand Slam history, or like in a long
Yeah,
time.
you watch a guy like Lucas Klein like play incredible
Exactly
match against Zverev.
Right,
Yeah,
but then we also saw Mensick, force Hubie to a fifth set. We also
yeah.
saw who was another challenger guy that did really well.
Purcell's not a challenger guy, but he did well.
Yeah, he did well. That it was simultaneous fifth set breakers with
Yeah.
Zverev and Klein and
But actually, Purcell is a recent challenger graduate, right? Like this time last year, he was
yeah,
playing challenger tour.
true. Yeah, and he had that crazy run in Korea, and like I think he hit the top 50 at some point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so I mean, Klein, I mean, he impressed me, but I mean, we'll get into Zverev more, but like he just wins ugly. Like no
Yeah,
match is straightforward with that guy.
yeah, yeah.
And before we head into tomorrow's matches, I just want to bring up that Sinner sweat that I had earlier today with the love one and to win every set, love 1 and 2. He won the
And you
first
got love 1 and 3.
of
Oh. But Baez, that match was the third set match was actually fucking awesome. Like the first 6-7 games of that was like fucking incredible. Like
it was. I mean, if Baez was like 2% lower, I hit that 10-1.
Yeah.
Right? Easily.
Yeah, like one of my takeaways is that Sinner is really good. Like the takeaway from that is that Sinner is really good at tennis. It's not the Baez. Like it's also I think the takeaway there too is like matchup. Like, we talk about it a fair amount because we are more qualitative than quantitative. But there's really some matchup elements. Like one of the things we haven't talked about enough on this podcast is like high ball versus low ball. And like some guys are high ball hitters. Like some guys are high ball hitters and hit a high ball back. Some guys are better low ball hitters and hit a low ball back. Like a guy like a Manarino, I think really struggles with like big spin players, right? Because like when the ball gets up, and that's why part of why he struggles on clay is because when the ball's up at his high level, like it's hard for him to hit that flat ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some guys are better at that. Like a guy like Sinner loves the high ball and just smacks that high ball away for a winner every time, And like some guys are better low ball hitters, It's a very I don't know. I feel like it's a very under talked about part of like these matchups.
Yeah, Baez just couldn't do anything because he can't change the ball that he hits, right? So he's gonna hit that spin ball and it just like is right into that slot. And if Sinner was striking it amazing today, like let's be honest. Like Baez didn't play poorly by any stretch of the imagination. If honestly, the way he's looking and the way the other stars are looking, if after today's play I still get 7-1 on Sinner to win the title, I might have to hit that.
I think you have to. I mean, at this point, especially because, like, to your point, we've now gotten through 3 rounds, and like, there's been no physical damage as of yet.
Yes, exactly. None.
I mean, these matches have been like easier than like a lot of 3-set matches, like best of 3-set matches.
Plus, he started on Sunday, so he had 2 days off between the first and the second round.
I mean, Baez today Baez went under the standard 22.5 for 3-set matches.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, no, it's very true. It's very true. And who's the only threat to him in the top half of the draw? It's Novak, right? That's it, right?
I mean, I think if he plays poorly, Rublev could get him. I think Rublev's got like a 20. I mean, I know you don't think this, but I think Rublev's got like a 15 to 20% chance. I think there's some some chance there for Rublev, but
I mean,
they
I
played
wouldn't
pretty tight at the one of the indoor tournaments last year. I can't remember which one. It was like 7-5, 7-5 or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily mind that just because I have a plus 750 on Rublev to win the quarter. I just thought that value was too good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like. I think Rublev would be a sizable favorite against de Minaur. Like, I know de Minaur has had a good run, but like de Minaur struggles against like power players.
He does. He does.
You know, where he can't just rely on his defense to win in points. So I actually think Rublev is being slightly undervalued here.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Any other kind of takeaways from the first round, like first couple rounds? What were some of your best bets?
Well, I mean, my best bet was Ottman to win the first set against Medvedev.
Insane. Plus 675?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think. And then
and it's not just that you got there, it's how you got there. Wasn't Medvedev serving for it at 5-3?
Yeah, yeah. That was one of the more exciting bets I've ever hit. Because like Medvedev was serving for it and then just like went away. But like there was a path there. And at plus 675, you don't need a huge path for one set to like, I don't know, to make that a good play.
It's just like positive variance kind of going your way, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I also had a fair bit of success backing a lot of the favorites to win. Like, I usually don't do the set betting, the 3-1 set betting. I know you like that play, but like, I'll do it. A lot of times I'll take like a favorite to win, like to like win like minus a set and a half, right? Because like these guys can blow a set, but like a lot of times these underdogs can't get 2 sets. But they're good enough to get 1. Or the guy has something, you know, the favorite will have 1 last, but not 2. Right. But yeah, and I've kind of had a fair amount of success backing guys like we have the Sonego bet. Like, you know, I've had a fair amount of success backing guys to win a set. I have Fucevich to win a set against Dimitrov. Like,
yeah, that was a good bet.
I've had a success there also. I feel like
Dimitrov Kokkinakis, no tie breaks.
Yeah.
Plus 150. I just thought that there was good value there. Like, I think like the perception of like Shelton matches, Kokkinakis matches, Hubie matches are that they're going to be a ton of tie breaks, right? Just because of the serve.
Which there will be. There will be. It's not
right. But if you get like plus 200 or better, or like, you know, even plus 180 or better, a lot needs to go right for a tie break to happen. Right.
Agreed.
So, and I think that that's a kind of an underrated part of it. Like, so that's why I much prefer playing the no tiebreak than playing the tiebreak. You know?
I mean, it depends on the matchup. And obviously the matchup and the price. Like, there's also sneaky matchups, right? Because like everybody knows like 2 big servers equals a tiebreak.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into some of my thoughts there as we get into some of these matches. But I have some kind of sneaky overplays coming up.
Sneaky overplays. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. So
we're gonna go through the 8 matches that are tomorrow, right?
Yep. We're not going to touch on the remainder of today's matches just because like everyone's watching tennis. No one's going to watch us, right?
Yep.
They'd rather watch like actual tennis than us.
Yep.
So the first match tomorrow is going to be Tommy Paul and Miomir Kecmanovic. Let me share the screen. So Tommy Paul and Miomir Kecmanovic. Paul is a 4.5 game favorite, minus 285 on the money line. Over under is 38.5. Kecmanovic is plus 225. This is. You have a play here?
I do. And this is I mean, it's so funny. Your segue was perfect. Sneaky overplay. I have the over 38.5 and I have the over 9.5 games in the first set. I mean, Paul should be a favorite here, but like Kecmanovic is playing tough recently, man. Like, you know, he played tough against Draper. He lost the first set against Watnuki and came back. Like, you know, he's showing like, I know you like to say, oh, he doesn't like to fight through adversity, etc., but like he's doing a little more the past 2 months. And if he's doing that, like,
I hear
this match is.
But
if he's doing that, if he's fighting what?
What I'm concerned about here is how does Kecmanovic back up that 5-setter against Struff? Like it's one thing, if you're kind of playing when you're fresh, but him not being the fittest guy and then backing up that 5-set match with another quote unquote 5-set match. If you think it's going to go over 38.5, I think that's a risky play. Like I would lean the under here.
So I hear you, Manny. That said, that Struve match, there were 2 6-1 sets. It was only 3 hours, 20 minutes, and it was Struve. So, I didn't watch it, but the points couldn't have been long.
Yeah, but the ending was physical.
I mean, the ending, like, is that going to wear him down physically? Like, I mean, mental fatigue could be a concern, but I'm not too worried about physical fatigue. We've also talked about this, how, like, fatigue is usually, we haven't talked about it on the pod, I don't think, but, like, the market has a tendency to overbuild fatigue into the line.
Okay, so if you thought, like, if Kecmanovic didn't play a 5-setter, you think it would be like plus 180?
Maybe, yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, because, like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't think this line is too far. Like, I think this line is pretty good in terms of the spread and the money line. To be honest, I think the spread and money line are pretty well set. Paul should win this match, but the other thing is, like, here's the other piece. If Paul should win this match, at some point he's going to be ahead and have to serve this out.
Right.
That's not happening. I mean, it might. Let's be honest, it might. But this is Tommy Paul.
It is.
Like, there is no. And, like, if Mio's showing a little more heart and a little more fighting back, again, like, he fought back from getting breadsticked in the 4th to beat Struve. Like, there's a Mio that sometimes goes away in those spots, but he's not doing that the past few months. He seems a little bit like, I don't want to say his tennis is way, way better, but, like, he seems a little bit more reinvigorated mentally, like a little more like he wants to be there. And, if he's there, like, his talent puts him in the top 50.
Yeah.
I don't think this match is, and Paul loves to drop sets. We've talked about this. Paul, especially against a guy who's a competent player, Paul loves to drop sets, whether it's by choking or just going through a lull. But yet Paul's the better player. So, like, this, I think 4 sets is a decent look here. But I mean, but Paul could choke away the 4th, Like, with Paul, a choke is always in play. So that's why it's a sneaky over, because, like, I get it, Manny. Like,
wouldn't you rather put in the 5-set line at plus 265 if you think, like, there's going to be, like, choking back and forth and, ups and downs and, like,
I think either is a fine play. I don't discriminate that much. I think that either's a fine play. I also have the over 9.5 in set 1. The other piece of this is that Paul and Kecmanovic, I think the last 5 sets they've played head to head have all gone 12 games or more.
It's similar to the Kecmanovic Draper matchup, where I feel like a lot of those sets are long sets. Like, they played 2 tiebreaks in Davis Cup, and then they played 3 tiebreaks like last week in Brisbane or in So it's
and I don't know why that is, but I think it's the matchup. I think they're just like, like, if one guy gets hit, like, and the opposite's true too. Like, if Kecmanovic gets ahead in the set, do we think he's closing it out?
No, I don't.
Like, I don't think one break in this set is good. Meaning, like, I don't think one break in this set, like, wins the set. Like, I think, you know what I mean? So, like.
So I initially would lean under, but now that you say that closing is going to be very difficult for both of these guys, I think I'm going to hit the 5-set line at plus 245.
I don't think that's a bad look at all.
It's a matchup where I want high plus money because I think there are a lot of variables.
I get it. I hear you. My plays are the over 9.5 in set 1, because I think that's a pretty good, like, you don't see a whole lot of these. I mean, you see some, but you don't see a ton of over 9.5 at like minus 125 where they're, like, hittable.
And there are going to be quite a few breaks here, I feel. So serving order doesn't really matter. Right?
Yeah.
Like, but I would talk to Piranha before on the serving order, though. Before you actually hit that.
Yeah, but are we that sure, Paul? But this isn't like a Djokovic when we were pretty sure Djokovic's going to win the set. Like, what is the first set money line even? It's not that. It's not going to be more than 2-1. It's going to be well below 2-1.
Yeah, plus 150.
Yeah, to minus 200. It's I don't know. That's my play here. I think over 10.5 games could be good here.
I
What's
don't
the
like
over 10.5 games
I don't
for the
like
first
Pro
set?
Kecmanovic first set lines because I feel like he could come out slow and just sluggish after that 5-setter.
I'm not really like I'm not really that worried about that 5. I'm really not that worried about it. Like
I am
it's
when
I mean
with I'm worried with any Kecmanovic physical endeavor.
I get it, right? Like you look at the guy, and I get it, right? Like you look at the guy. I hear you. I hear you. And there's a little bit of logic to that, but I don't know, man. He played 237 against Watnuki in the first round, 321 in the second. That's not terrible. Like it's a lot of sets, but it's been pretty quick. Again, like Watnuki is another like points are 3 balls and done.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not a.
I saw the end of that Struve Kecmanovic match, and the ending, like the last like 4 or 5 games, were quite physical.
Okay.
And I'm sure it was mentally taxing because like he had match points, I think, in the 5-6 game, and then couldn't close it out, and then he had to go into the tie break.
There's a slight chance of mental fatigue. I'm not like. Yeah, I think this is. I think that's the only question mark here. I'm not too worried about it. Like I usually give guys one mulligan like that. It's if you start stacking them up that I get really worried. But I usually am if it's. But I get it. Like I get it. Like Kecmanovic isn't really a guy you want to trust. Like, with physical fatigue, but I also don't want to trust either of these guys to close anything out. So I see both. I see both logics here.
I want high plus money. I'm going to go with a 5-set line, but it's going to be like a 3/4 of a unit. I don't think I'm even going to go full unit on it.
Yeah, this is only a one. I split my unit. I only want one unit here, and I split it between the first set over and the match over. Because I agree, it's not my favorite. It's not the like easiest match on the bet on the. It's not the easiest bet on the match or easiest match on the card to bet.
For sure. All right, next match is Junchen Shang against Carlitos Alcaraz. Alcaraz is an 8-game favorite.
This is another good one because here's gonna be another disagreement, Manny.
Another disagreement.
I like first set lines here on Shang. I'm looking at the plus 2.5, the over 9.5, and the 5-1 money line. I think, like, I've got serious concerns about if Shang can stick with Alcaraz physically, just because, like, sticking with Alcaraz physically is so difficult. We've seen so many guys just, like, gas out after one set. He's just, the way he hits, the way he plays, the energy level is so tough to match. Mm-hmm. But I think Shang likes the spotlight. He's got a lot of talent. He's a good player. He's got a weird game a little bit. He's with that inside-out forehand, the lefty serve where he lines up way out wide. Like he lines up almost the edge of the singles sideline at his first serve, which is very odd for a singles player. So I think with all that together, I'm liking first set pro first set stuff for Shang.
I mean,
the match I think is going to be a disaster. Like, I think the last couple sets are going to be a mess, but I want to back Shang in some capacity in the first set.
I mean, at 5-1, I can't really argue with that. I think the price is too good. And I hear you. If you're backing Shang, it's got to be quick and early, right?
Yeah.
But how is Shang to win the first set plus 500, and then the line for Shang to lose the first or Alcaraz to lose the first set and win the match plus 450? I guess that's a book error.
Yeah, it's got to be a book error. Right? Yeah,
gotta be a book error. And I think there's so much more value on Shang to win the first set than the plus 2.5 sets because I don't think I totally
100%. Like I only want a piece of Shang in the first set here. Yeah. Like a guy who has physical issues. Like I've talked about how it's usually heat related, but against Alcaraz it's a whole different ballgame. Against Alcaraz physically.
It's like a man versus a boy. Like that's what
it
is, right?
Yeah. But the boy, I think, is a shot. I think the boy is a shot for.
Well, can the boy bother the boy bother the father, right? Like for a set, right?
Yeah.
And then the father is just going to spank him left and right, ground him in the room, and it's going to be all over, right? It's funny that I'm saying that considering Alcaraz is like what 1 year older than Shang.
Yeah, but there is a physical difference here. Let's not kid. Like if you put these guys side by side, they don't look the same.
Exactly.
And Alcaraz hasn't looked good.
He hasn't.
Or at least he hasn't looked at like normal Alcaraz levels. So I think there's something to attack here.
You know what? I'm gonna go in with you on the 5-1 set one money line, but I'm not gonna hit the over 9.5 or well that's plus money though.
Yeah.
Over 9.5 is plus 110.
Yeah. And Alcaraz can give breaks away for no reason too.
He can. Does Alcaraz like to serve first?
I always, and I'm not just saying because I backed the bet, but I always thought he was more of a receive first guy, but I have no idea. There's a guy, Piranha, on our Discord
Yeah.
who's really good with this stuff. It'd be worth reaching out to him before we lock that in, but I don't know, man.
I'm definitely
That
going to
looks
ask
good to
him because
me.
if Alcaraz likes to return first or Shang likes to serve first, I think that's a must hit, the over 9.5.
Yeah.
And then the 5-1 money line. But like, I mean, what price are you going to get live if Shang wins the first set on Alcaraz? Probably what, like minus 250?
Oh, at best, I would think. I think it'll be worse than that. I mean, what is the 3-1? What is Alcaraz minus a set and a half? It should be there.
Alcaraz.
12. It's minus 1,200. Alcaraz minus a set and a half.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So that's probably what you'll get live if Shang wins the first set.
That's nuts. That's insane. I mean,
Yeah.
Alcaraz 3-1 plus 255. That's
No,
not
I don't like it because I think the only set Shang has a chance to win is the first one. Maybe the second, but it's pretty outside chance. Like once Alcaraz figures out what to do, this is all one-way traffic.
right.
This isn't like the Sonego match where there's going to be an energy, like a rebound of energy. Like this is. I want Shang for one and done. Like, and I think the 5-1 might be the best place because it's so much plus money.
You know what
that,
I'm actually hoping is if Shang wins the first set, like 6-4, for example, and then you lay the alternate spread, you lay like 8 games with Alcaraz.
Yeah.
Like that's actually a decent look, and you know, because I think after the first set we could see like a 6-2 or 6-1.
Oh, I think easily. I think after that, I think
fourth.
the Shang gets to play one set in this match, and Alcaraz gets the rest of the match. Like,
yeah. All right, I'm gonna
Shang is lefty. I mean, we mentioned it too, but Shang is lefty. I always think it's a little bit of an advantage. Alcaraz has never seen Shang before.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit the 5-1 money line now, and then I'm gonna see with the over 9.5. That depends on serve order for me.
Honestly, also like the break even percentage between the plus 2.5 for Shang and the over 9.5 at plus 110. The break even percentage there is only 5%. It's only like a 52-47 versus a 47-52. It could be worth. This could be like. I usually don't like these either, but like the set spread could be worth it here because you could. I mean, like if Shang serves first, a 6-3 Shang is not completely out of the cards. If Alcaraz gives a breakaway and Shang like serves well and confuses Alcaraz, so
it's true. It's true. Interesting match though. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm really looking forward to the first set. Like I said, I don't think there's much after that, but I think the first set is exciting.
Yeah.
And I think Shang's going to be up for it. Like Shang does seem to enjoy the energy. He seems to enjoy the crowds. Like I don't think there's going to be an issue like mentally of him shying away.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, next match is Ugo Humbert and Hubie Hurkacz. So Ugo is a 2.5 game dog, plus 140 on the money line. Hubie's minus 170. Over under is 41.5. Wow, that's a high total. I wanted to hit the over in some capacity here because I do think this is an overmatch, but like that's to the point where I start to hesitate. Are you still on that? Like, do you still think it's?
I'm on the dog over combo here. I mean, look, man, Hubie just loves to play 5 sets. Like you could also go for the dog in the 5 sets. Play like the dog 5 set combo. I think that could be interesting too because 41.5 is hard to get there in 4 sets. So maybe the dog 5 sets combo is the better play. Because 5 sets is probably plus 2 something. But I honestly think I was looking at this, man. I think Hubie's kind of overrated. Like, and not in that like he's like overranked as a tennis player, but like he's kind of the guy who's there. Like, and like we kind of commented on that. Like he does well in tournaments when like everybody else gets knocked out and he's just like the last guy left. But I was looking, I think over the past like 2 years, he's well under 500 against guys ranked between 10 and 20 in the world.
But we've talked about this in the past with Kachanov, right? Like Kachanov is just there, right? Like, and I think there's something to be said with Hubie too. And right? And the reason why Hubie is ranked higher than Kachanov is because the serve is better than Kachanov's, right?
Yes, but that's why I'm going to his ranking, his record versus guys 10 to 20, because like those are guys that he's actually ranked ahead of right now, right? Yeah. Like my point is like, I think like for this match, right? Given that Humbert's like borderline top 20, I think in both ELO and in ELO and just overall ATP ranking, I think he's like somewhere in the high teens.
Yep.
Or low 20s. I can't remember exactly at this time. But and Hubie's in like the top 10. Like that's kind of how this is being priced. I just don't really know that Hubie's truly top 10. I feel like he does better against like beating up on like slightly lower competition. But again, I think he's like he does not have a good record against guys who are like in that 10 to 20 range, which is sort of where Humbert is in my mind on a hard court, especially a quick hard court. So that's why I've gone for the I think Hubie deserves to be a favorite, but it's probably a little smaller than this. Like I thought this is like really pretty close to pick, like something like a minus 130 plus 110. But I think this is pretty close to pick. So I've got my overdog combo here.
Okay. I like the Ugo. I was still concerned about the food poisoning that he had, but he seems to have gotten over that.
I mean, that's 2 weeks ago, right? You should be able to get past it. Not always. You're right. You never know.
Yeah.
But if that was a problem, I think it would have been more of a problem in the first 2 rounds.
Right. I like the Ugo money line plus 140. It could serve as my hedge for it because I have Hubie to lose in the quarterfinals at 7-1. So I'm hoping that pans out and he wins 2 more matches and flames that in the quarters.
Yeah. I'm looking up this right now for you, Manny, this record, because it's quite alarming.
Have these guys played?
They have, and I think Hugo's 2-0, I think.
Okay.
And they've both been pretty close matches. So I think they've both been 3-setters. Like, I mean, I don't play this because it's such a loaded market. But the Hugo in 5 is kind of an interesting play here, I think, to me. It's high plus money. It's just there's a lot of hold in that market.
Yeah. I'd rather just do the 5 sets. What do you get for 5 sets? Probably like what, plus 210? Probably not very good.
Yeah. Right? Hubie last 3 years. Hubie since the beginning of 22 on versus guys ranked 11 to 20 in the world is 4-8. So that's not top 10 guys, but top 20 guys. So guys who are like basically in my mind, his like peers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I think that tells you something. And his wins are Musetti on grass, Schwartzman at the ATP Cup on hard. He got Tiafoe and then he got Coric. But like, yeah. Coric last year in Cincy when Coric wasn't playing anywhere near a top 20 level. And Tiafoe in Vienna. I mean, that's a real win. I'll give him credit for that one. But the other 3 are not really in my mind like great wins. I don't know. I think that's why I kind of said I think he's a little like he's not overrated because to your point, like there's something to be said for being there. I 100% agree with you. And credit to him for making the top 10 because he's always there. He always competes, always fights.
Yep.
So yeah, you give him his kudos, but from a betting perspective, I think there's something here.
I don't see too much I like, to be honest. Like I'm there with you on the Ugo money line, but I don't think it's pick. I think he should be like plus. I think it's like 10 cents off. I don't. Okay. I just think Hubie has an advantage on serve. here, and he'll be able to manufacture some more holds. And I think the total is right too.
Yeah, I mean, 41.5 is a big total.
It is. It's a big total. My favorite kind of play here would be like to do the over 3.5 sets and parlay it with the Paul Kecmanovic over 3.5 sets.
Okay.
And get like plus 110.
Is that what you'll get if you parlay those?
Let's see.
You might. I mean, I think Paul Kecmanovic over 3.5 sets is what, minus 200? That seems pretty damn good to me too, to be honest.
Minus 200 with the Hubie one. Plus 123.
Wow. It's kind of cool.
Like I don't see either of those matches go be straight sets. Like,
I mean, so the answer to your question is Kecmanovic just goes away or Tommy Paul just throws in a dud. Like that could like that one's a little scarier, but they also have the closing issues, which kind of offsets that.
right.
So
exactly. I'm gonna hit that right now. It's gonna be a 2-unit play.
All right. I mean, I clearly don't hate either of those plays, right? I'm on the over. I think they're both good plays. Like, but yeah, I'm
but you know, I don't have to worry about games. I just have to, each guy has to win a set, basically.
Yeah.
So all right, next match is Arthur Cazaux against Talon Griekspoor. How about that performance by Cazaux against Holger Rune?
Oh, that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible.
Incredible. Yeah.
So, Manny, explain to me how this line is only 2 games.
I think people are being prisoner of the moment, and they're weighing that Rune win a little bit too much.
Yeah.
My opinion. This should be, and I think it might have to also do with Griekspoor's like returning problems per se. But yes, Cazaux is a challenger level guy who had the match of his life the other day, right? Yesterday was like the day of challenger guys like rising to the occasion.
It was, yeah.
Right? Like Mensick, Cazaux, and Klein, they all played matches of their lives, right? So I think it should be at least 3.5. So I
mean, I was thinking more. I'm thinking it should be up in like the 4s. Like
really?
It almost feels like a trap line because like
it does.
Like what? Like why? Like I mean, the only thing that's scary with Griekspoor is he played 350 with Roman in the first round, but then he got off the court pretty quick. 2 hours against Fees. That's not too bad. 220. That's not bad.
It's not bad.
That match.
And I thought those were 2 really good wins. Like I thought all 3 of those guys are like very, very similar, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like exceptionally similar. And like
that's what I mean. So if Griekspoor's like a top 30 player on a fast hardcore, which he's got to be, right? He's got to be a top 25, 30 player.
Yeah.
How much worse can Cazaux be? Or no, not how much worse. Like how can Cazaux be that close? He's a challenger level guy. He's a wild card in this tournament.
But besides that, don't you think that there's a let up spot here with Cazaux? Like,
I don't think there's a let up spot. I just think like that was his peak against Rune. He's not going to play that well again. I mean, he might. Not likely.
After such a win like that, there has to be some kind of let up though. Like some.
I don't think so. I think it's just like
a level guy is going to back it up with another top 30 win.
I think it's more like that's close. Like that's like his best 10%, right? So like you're telling me he's gonna like if he rolled the dice against Rune, he rolled a 10.
Right.
You're telling me he's gonna roll another 10? Like
no.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's gonna roll a 2, but he's probably gonna roll a 6 or a 7. And if he does, that's probably not enough to be Griekspoor. I also don't think Rune's that good on a fast hardcourt.
Yeah,
like he was a good win.
Right.
But Rune's better on a slower court. Rune hasn't been good since Rune really hasn't been good since
Wimbledon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right where he made the quarters.
Yeah.
So if this was Ruud instead of Cazaux, how would you price that match against Griekspoor? Would you make Griekspoor?
I mean, I have room. Price it tight. Like, I'd probably have Ruud like a 2-game favorite or something, two to 3-game favorite, something like that. So probably the same spread, but Ruud would be the favorite.
Okay.
It would also be a little bit of a bad matchup for Griekspoor just because like Ruud like can, like Griekspoor just doesn't play very much defense.
But with a spread like this, what's the Griekspoor minus 1.5 sets?
That's my bet. The plus 110 for Griekspoor minus a set and a half. Because I could see Cazaux winning a set. A, because he's got a high ceiling. B, because because Griekspoor could if Griekspoor gives away a break, you're in real trouble on the 3-0. And Griekspoor probably will give away a break at some point. But
I don't want to lay games just because I can see tie breaks and
it's also Griekspoor's return game is so poor.
Right.
It's so bad. But yeah, that's where I've gone. I've gone for the Griekspoor minus a set and a half at plus 110. I don't like.
I like the
Cazaux's not this good. At some point, he's good, but he's not this line is pricing him like he's a top 50 player in the world. He's not that good.
I think that's going to be our GBM play of the day tomorrow. I really like it. Minus 1.5 sets at plus money.
Yeah.
I also really like the 3-1 at plus 320.
I think it's a solid look. I'm not going to back it with you. I'll take the minus 1.5 sets at plus 110, but I think it's a solid look.
Okay. Because I think Griekspoor is due to lose a set here or there just because he could throw in some bad errors.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and he could end up in a tiebreak. He could lose a tiebreak. Right.
Exactly.
His return game is so poor. It's really hard to ever back Griekspoor 3-0. But 3-1 feels okay.
Okay. All right. That will be a GBM play of the day. The Griekspoor minus 1.5 sets. Let's hit that now. Next match tomorrow is Grigor Dimitrov against Nuno Borges. This is the end of the road for Nuno. His name is not Nuno tomorrow. It's just No, because there's no way I'm backing him in this match. I'm actually thinking of laying the 7 with Dimitrov. He was 5.5 against Kokkinakis, right? But Kokkinakis at least has weapons and home crowd and all that. Borges is thrilled to get to the third round here. And I really think this spread should be 8.5 or 9, in my opinion.
I don't really understand what Borges does that makes him so good. I get he gets balls back, he competes. He does.
Yeah, but that's not going to work against Dimitrov. The total is also high, 33. That should be 30.
Well, no, I mean, Manny, these lines are all the same. It's basically is this 3-0 or 3-1. If you look at the 3-0, it'll probably be minus 110, and they're all the same, right? If it goes 3 sets, you're going to get under that 33. And you'll probably cover the 7 games. If it goes over 3 sets, you're going to be in trouble with all your spreads there. In my mind, it's kind of a boring spread. It's kind of a boring
yeah.
I hate when lines come into 7 because it's kind of a boring set of lines because they're all the same thing. It's basically all variations of will Borges win a set.
Do you think he'll win a set?
I think he could. 1 set? Dimitrov loves to throw away sets and slams.
He does. But that's why I prefer laying the games, because if Borges steals a set, I could easily see a 6-1.
But you're going to need multiple 6-2 sets out of Dimitrov against a guy in Borges I mean, it could happen. Borges can play some really bad tennis.
Also Dimitrov's form right now. He's in good form.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to bet this, I would lay the 7 with Dimitrov, but I think this is a pass for me.
Okay.
Because I hear everything you're saying. Also, that Borges win over Fokina, that was a complete donation from Foki.
Right. It was. It was. No disagreement. I might play the Dimitrov to win. Well, that's and under 32.5, but that's still minus money. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lay the 7, but I agree. It's not like a GBM candidate. It's a.
Well, I would never play that. I would never play that parlay, Manny, because the under is 33. I would just play the under 33 if you're going to do that. It was the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think all those lines are basically the same. Like
they are. All right, next match: Cam Norrie and Casper Ruud. Ruud is a 5-game favorite. Norrie's plus 210 on the money line. Ruud is minus 260. Over under is 38.5. Overall, I think it's a pretty bad card tomorrow. You thought today was a bad card, right?
Yeah. I can't get behind this. Like I this is a pass for me. Like, because the challenge I have here is, and man, you and I talked about this. Like, this is a really bad matchup for Norrie. Like we talked about, so this is actually we talked about this. We literally talked about this 30 minutes ago. Low ball, high ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like to me, this is the epitome of low ball, high ball. Like, because Norrie doesn't want the ball up because he's got to, especially on the backhand, he's got to shovel that backhand. How's he going to shovel a backhand up here? And Ruud's ball, and it's a righty versus a lefty. That forehand from Ruud, that big heavy forehand, is going to be kicking way up. Even on these like lower bouncing hard courts, it's still going to kick way up. I mean, the forehand to backhand pattern is a disaster, I think, for Norrie here. And I think it's why Ruud's taken him to the woodshed a couple times.
Yeah, the head-to-head reflects that.
Yeah.
I was in person for one of their meetings in Miami, and that was after Norrie made the final Acapulco. Like, he was in really good form leading up to that, and it was a round of 16 match. And Ruud, is not the best hardcore player by any stretch of the imagination, but he just took him to the woodshed. So I really think that this is a matchup issue for Norrie. And
what is the 3-0 Ruud? Is that a good price or not really?
Plus 160.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I actually like the minus 1.5 sets at minus 150. I know it's juiced, but like I can't really see Norrie winning 2 sets here.
I hear you, man, but the challenge is like, now we'll go the other way with it. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but Ruud just played a long 5-setter with Purcell.
But I'm not worried about
a 5-set comeback from 2 sets down, which might actually be worse. Like, this just seems like a mess, man. I got to take a pass.
Physicality is not a problem with Casper Ruud, though.
I don't think so either. I hear you, but I'm going to take a pass. But I think your line, like, I think if you're going to play it, it's the other problem is like I don't know, man. Like Ruud's not that good in a fast hard court either. Like women but neither is Norrie. Like it's ugh.
As you said, it's that ball getting up high on him.
I mean, it's all about the matchup. It's all about the matchup. And if you believe enough in the matchup, I think it's a good line to hit. It's tough. I think it's a tough I don't know, man. Like I want to hit Ruud here. It's just, I mean, you could lay the 5 too. That might not be a bad thing.
5 is not that much.
It's not. And Ruud's taken to the woodshed a couple times. Like 3-1, you could easily cover the 5.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, again, like, as tennis players, right? Just as pure tennis players, there's not that much of a gap here. It's just the matchup.
I disagree. I think there's a pretty sizable gap. I think Ruud is the better tennis player right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna back Ruud in some capacity here.
I'll probably end up tailing. It's I was gonna pass, but I'll probably end up tailing. It's such a bad matchup for Norrie.
Mm-hmm.
That forehand backhand is just a disaster.
Totally agree.
And I don't think the forehand from Norrie to Ruud's backhand, like, yeah, he'll have the advantage in that pattern, but it won't be that big.
I think it helps Norrie slightly that the fact that the match is played at night or like later in the day. Like if it was like sunny and like midday, I think that might actually help Ruud more. It's a minor thing, but I think that it's worth pointing out.
I don't know, man, because I think the slower the court is, right? Like it's a little slower the cooler it gets. And I think if it's a little slower, that helps Ruud. Plays a little more like a clay court. Also, which court is this on?
Good question.
The schedule's out.
It's on John Kane, so you get the kind of the covered.
You get the drunks.
Semi-covered court. You know, wind isn't going to really play a factor there.
Yeah.
You know.
But Kane still plays pretty quick, right? Plays quicker, I think, than Lever.
Yeah. Plays pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
debating. It's Ruud or pass. At this point for me, it's Ruud or pass. But
I'm gonna lay the 5.
I think that's probably the right play.
All right, FAA against Medvedev. So these guys played 2 years ago in a quarterfinal that lasted like almost 5 hours. Medvedev won a 5th set breaker, I believe, coming back from 2 sets down. It's different. FAA is a totally different player since that point. I can't back FAA here.
Yeah, I've laid the 6.
You've laid the 6. That's probably the right play. Because like besides that meeting that they had at the Australian Open, like Medvedev dominated this head-to-head.
Yeah, I mean, not besides that meeting, it's 6-0. I mean, Medvedev still won that meeting. I think it's 6-0 Med this head-to-head.
I mean, that was a really close match, but that was their only close match, right?
They've had other close-ish, but I mean, you can look up the head-to-head. It's probably worth looking up. I don't remember if the last 2 times they played twice last year when FA was actually playing rather well on the indoor hard court swing in the first 3 months of the year. And Medvedev took him to the woodshed the first time. The second time was like 3-6. I think 4-6 maybe. Yeah, Doha semi, and he got taken to the woodshed in Rotterdam.
Yeah, and even the
I don't know, man.
Was straight sets. It was like Medvedev would have covered 6 there, and I think FAA was playing way better tennis at that point. Medvedev did not look good against Ruud, but I think like getting through that match and coming back from 2 sets down could relax him. Like I feel like Medvedev not playing a warm-up tournament has actually hurt him because it's the first time he's done that in a career coming into a slam. And I think he's a guy that actually needs matches.
I also think Ruud is a much trickier opponent to play than FAA, right? Because Ruud is going to smack the ball around. He's going to hit a lot of winners, make a lot of errors. Like it's hard to get in a rhythm. FA is a much like FA, yeah, the serve plays up, and that's the scary part of the 6 here, is because you're going up against the serve. But outside of that, I don't really see anything scary here.
How is FA going to generate aces? Like he doesn't really place the serve that well. Like it's
not just that. It's also Medvedev's the hardest guy to ace on the tour.
Exactly, and I don't think FA is going to be able to really make progression on that serve.
He will. Like when he makes the first, he will. My issue is like how does he consistently find any other points? Because basically he's resorted to playing a Medvedev type of game at a way lower level than Medvedev.
Yeah, I don't see how he can find holes in the court like in rallies. Like just hitting linear aggressive balls is exactly what Medvedev wants.
Well, I don't think it will. I mean, FA, I feel like that's like old FA. I feel like now he's resorted to hitting to being less aggressive, but then he's just playing Medvedev's game against Medvedev. I don't see that working. Exactly. I mean, maybe the scary part is here is Med can always just go he can go mentally awry for a set, and then 6 gets a little tough to cover, especially with FA. FA still has, at least in my opinion, still has a pretty good serve. So
So I disagree with that. I don't think Medvedev is going to go clown mode here because FA is a quote unquote big name, and it's a guy that has challenged Medvedev in the past on the same court, like in this tournament. And I think his alarm bells are going to be up because like when Medvedev plays a guy that he quote unquote respects, he never goes clown mode.
Yeah,
You ever see him do it against?
Man, I mean, does he not respect Zverev? He went clown mode against Zverev in Indian Wells when he knocked the net post down.
Fair, but that was also like late in the night in Monte Carlo. Like they were like waiting all day, and there was rain and stuff. So like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like that's narrative. I think there's risk of I think that's the risk, right? There's risk in all these bets. I think there, but on the flip side, if you go back to that head to head, if you show that, I think what's really interesting here is there's 3 matches out of the 6 where Med has gotten a 6-2 set.
Yep. A 6 love set, ATP Cup.
Yeah. So I'm a lot less worried about covering. Like I think you could get a 4 set at least push, if not cover.
I'm way higher on Medvedev here. I think this is a horrible matchup for FAA, especially with how he's playing currently.
I agree with that. I think it's a horrible matchup. I just think like
I'm actually thinking Medvedev. The problem is like
why? Like Medvedev 3-0 is plus 110.
No,
Why?
the
Why force it?
I don't think he's gonna go clown mode, but like you can't like I can't rule that out, you know?
Yeah.
What's the no tiebreak here? Plus 105. That seems good.
I get it, but again, that FA sir, like
I don't think FA
serve
serve is that good. I don't think it's good. I think his second serve is actually a liability. He hits the same second serve. It has no margin. He doubles more. It's not even placed that well. And his first serve, you know, it's okay, but like Medvedev is going to stand so far back, and
it's pretty good. Didn't he lead the tour in aces a couple years back. It's
yeah, it was better, way better back then.
It was better. It still is pretty darn good. I mean, it still is probably a top 10 serve.
The problem is he can't back it up, especially in this matchup.
I don't disagree with any of that. I'm just saying in terms of the no tiebreaks bet, I mean, I don't know. Plus, Med could go clown, and you could end up in a tiebreak because he goes clown mode. Like,
are you concerned about Medvedev's like bounce back ability from ending at like nearly 5 a.m. or what? Well, he probably went.
There's an off day, which helps.
Yeah,
there's an off, which helps. He's still pretty young. It is a risk. It is a risk. It is a risk.
Yeah.
It might, that's a good call out. Maybe it does become a stay away just because of that. It's looking more and more. Actually, now that I think about that could make it a stay away. But I'm never backing FAA here.
No, it's Medvedev or pass. I think I'm gonna lay the 6, and I think I kind of like the no tiebreak, to be honest.
Okay. I might lay the 6, but it's probably only a 1-unit play because of the whole 5 a.m. wild card. There's an off day in between those. Also, isn't Medvedev like known for gaming? I can't imagine that guy never. I can't imagine that guy never has late nights gaming. Like he's like a top 2%. He's like a top 1% in the world gamer on like his favorite video game or something insane.
I mean, now he has a little daughter. I wonder if he's still gaming. I mean,
I think he is. His
wife must hate it. He has like a crying baby, travels the world and plays tennis, and then like he's gaming on top of it.
He's breaking in the cash, dude.
True. Good point. All right. Next match is Zverev and Michelson. It's a night match on Laver tomorrow. Zverev is a 6-game favorite. Minus 650 on the money line. Michelson is plus 450. Over under is 36. I guess you have to go with some, you can't really back Zverev to lose per se, but you have to back like a complicated match. Because like this is a common trend with Zverev. Like every match is just a grind.
For no reason, yeah.
For no reason.
The problem is I think this is a terrible matchup for Mickelson.
I thought that with
like he's just because Mickelson doesn't have the power that Klein did. Mickelson's got like a funky, weird game, but he doesn't have the power. He's so out athletic in this matchup. Like, it's probably a pass for me. I can't back Mickelson because of what I just said, but it's also Zverev makes every match complicated, so I really can't back Zverev either. For me, it's a pure pass. It's a mess.
What's Zverev? What? Yeah. I think I might play this Zverev 3-1 at plus 230. I can't trust Zverev to win in straight sets. That's for sure. When was the last slam match that he won in straight sets?
Oh, he's won a bunch recently. He's really not that bad when it comes to this. You can look it up. He actually wins pretty often in straights. You remember all the issues, but it's not nearly as bad as what you think.
Okay.
Level. You can look up level Grand Slams.
Oh, yeah. So 5 against Klein, 4 against Kopfer, 5 against Sinner, 4 against Dimitrov.
There's Vukic there. There's a couple of the French against Molchan and Dimitrov.
It's still 4-4-4 against Vukic. Like it's not like he's blowing them away.
No. He used to a lot more pre-injury. Like pre-injury, he was a lot better about this. It's tough. Like, yeah,
Mookie. I mean, even Brower was like 4, 6, and 6.
No, I mean Zverev. It's tough because like Zverev used to beat the tar out of people, but since this injury comeback this past year, he does win ugly. It's been a year now of this. So what point is that just the new Zverev? Yeah.
I mean, the last
this is a terrible matchup for Mickelson.
Like won easily was Dimitrov at Roland Garros, 1-4-3. Yeah. And Molchan 4-2-1. Those were really it, to be honest. Like I don't consider 4-4-4 against Vukic easy.
But it's pretty convincing. I mean, against a guy with the serve and forehand of Vukic, that's pretty convincing. That's one break each set.
Yes, I guess.
But I'm passing here.
I'm going.
I just think Mickelson's such a bad matchup here.
I do too, but I have the same
athlete. What?
I had the same thought with Klein.
But Klein red line.
I agree. I mean, one thing about Mickelson is like I actually think he has a very high tennis IQ.
Well, he has tenacity. Like he's a good guy to he's a good guy to bet to win a set here, but he's so out athleted. But
which is why I like this Zverev 3-1, and I don't trust Zverev to win in straights.
Yeah, I hear the logic.
So, but I want higher plus money.
I hear the logic.
All right, so we're gonna have what tomorrow? 1 GBM official play.
Yeah, I think it's just the Griekspoor minus 7.5 and plus 110. Yeah, I think that's which is scary because it feels kind of trappy. But yeah, there's it's a tougher card than I originally thought after we talked through it.
It's a pretty tough card. So let's go over it. So Paul Kecmanovic, I have the 5-set line. You have the over 38.5 and the over set 1.
9.5 in the first set. Okay. But even that's a tough line because it's like those guys are just tough guys to bet.
It is, yeah. Shang, Alcaraz, I think we're both on the set 1 money line, right?
Yep. And I'm on the over 9.5 in the set. Well, I gotta look at who's gonna serve first or who's more likely to serve first, but there's a potential. I'll probably play the over 9.5 in set 1 anyways, because it's plus money and there's always the chance for a rebreak in an Alcaraz match. Or maybe I'll play the Shang plus the 2.5 is kind of the same thing, but you're paying 20 cents in case Shang wins 6-3. So, but that's my overall thoughts. But I think we have similar thoughts.
I think it's a good match to hit live, right? Like, especially if we see some level of fatigue to go the other way and bet like
with the spread. You can only do it with the spread though, because the money line side's going to be so juiced.
Right. Umber and Hubie. I'm on. What did I say? I'm on.
We're both on Umber money line, right? The Hugo money line. Oh, that over's dropped to 41.
They won, yeah. I'm on the Ugo money line, but I can't put 2 units on it because I think it's pretty accurate. I think it's like 10 to 15 cents off, so it's like I don't really want to go that heavy.
I get it. You're a little higher on QB than I am.
Yeah. Oh, and I have that over 3.5 set parlay with the Kecmanovic Paul and the Ugo Hubie.
Yep.
So, but I think that's it there. Cazaux Griekspoor, the GBM play of the day, the -1.5 sets for Griekspoor. Dimitra Borges, I'm gonna lay the 7.
Yeah, I'm not on that.
You're not on that? Okay.
No.
Norrie Ruud, I'm gonna lay the 5.
That is a probable play, but I gotta think about it. It's ugh. Ruud. I just hate laying game. I hate playing Ruud as a big favorite on fast hardcore. He's just had so many bad he's had so many bad losses on fast hardcourts in the past year that it's like so hard to do.
Yeah, but Norrie's had just as many.
I don't disagree.
No, so with the matchup, advantage for Ruud there, I just think it should be 6. FAA and Medvedev, I am on Medvedev -6.
Yeah, that's my play here.
And I think I'm gonna also be on the no tie break at +105. You're laying off there, right?
Probably.
Is Medvedev -6 a GBM candidate?
No. Because of 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Yeah. Okay. And Zverev Michelson, I'm gonna be on the Zverev 3-1.
And this is a pass. But I hear your logic, Manny. Like, I do think probably that's the most likely outcome. I just don't know if it's often enough to get you to 3-1.
Okay. All right. Well, that does it. So
I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, like we talk about, like, I think it's a tough card, man. Like,
tough card.
I think it's a really tough card. Like, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for listening. Best of luck on your bets. Enjoy the tennis, and we should be back for a round 4 pod.
For sure, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll make some spaces in there too. We'll do some pods, some spaces. It'll be a good time.
Yep. We'll alternate.
Thanks to everyone who listens. Thanks to everyone who joined on the spaces a few nights ago. It was a great chat. It's been a fun tournament. We had a lot of fun on Discord. Like a lot of fun talking our tennis.
For sure. All right. Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks. All right, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Ciao.